Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. My name's Trevor and today we're going to be coding a simple calculator using JavaScript. This is one of the first pre-course assignments for my bootcamp, and I just wanted to run it through with you guys, kind of explain the concepts that I'm understanding here. If you have any questions or see that maybe I did something wrong or you would do something different in your code, feel free to comment and let me know. I'm open to all sorts of suggestions. I'm just learning here, so anything could help. All right, let's get into it. Okay, so we already have our JavaScript file open in VS Code here. And now we're just going to think about what our calculator actually needs to do. So I'm going to comment out a few things here that I think need to go in the calculator. That's going to be, it needs to add, it needs to subtract, it needs to multiply, and it needs to divide. Let's also not let anything divide by 0, just so we don't throw an infinite loop here. To not be able to by 0. Oops. Divide. Okay, so what else do we need? We need a way to keep the total. And we need a way, well, actually, first, need a way to actually total everything. And then in a calculator, we're going to need to clear total when we have another problem. Okay, so I think we can get coding here. First, we're going to do an add function. It's going to take 2 arguments, and it's going to return the sum of those 2 arguments. So first, let's declare let's declare a function here. Const add equals x and y as our 2 arguments, and then x plus y, which will return the sum of those 2. Now for subtract function, takes at least 2 arguments, returns difference. So again, const, and then let's do sub here, x, y as our 2 arguments, and now we're going to do x minus y. And there you go. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the multiply function. And again, this is going to be very similar to the addition and the subtraction here. So const multiply, equals x times y. Oh, no, actually, sorry, that's not right. That's where we're putting our arguments there. So that's right, x. Now it's x times y, and that will return. Okay, and now on to divide. Just clean up some stuff here. Didn't mean to do that. Let's divide. Okay. multiply function, 2 arguments, returns product. Okay. So the divide function is also going to take 2 arguments. It's also going to check if the divisor, which will be y, equals 0. Then we will return the quote. There you go. So let's go ahead and make this function here. Divide, can never spell divide for some reason. X and y again. So now this is where we're going to check if our y argument is 0. So this would be a good time to use an if statement. So if y equals 0, what are we going to do? We're going to return cannot divide by 0. Sorry. And now else we will return x divided by y. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this, and now we have all of our basic functions set up here. Now we're just going to actually create the calculator function that's going to take all of these and return the total of whatever function we input here. So to do that, we're going to create a switch statement. And a switch statement is a really good way to be able to test cases. And I'll show you exactly what I mean right now. So to create a switch statement, we're going to do const, and we're going to name this calculator. So now we're going to need 2 inputs into this calculator, which is going to be the sign, either plus, minus, multiply, or divide, and then whichever number we are going to add or subtract or divide to the original total. So we're going to use sign here, and we'll use num for number. Now, switch. Now our input is going to be sign. That is what we're testing for here. And our first case is going to be, let's use plus. So if it is plus, we're going to do total equals add total and num. Now break. And our second case is going to be subtract, in which we will, let's see, sub, we'll call sub here with the total and the num as well. Oops, go back. Goodness. Okay. Now break. And our third case is going to be multiply. Total equals multiply. And those are going to be also total and no. Break. Now we have divide. total equals divide total and num. Break. Okay, so one thing we actually forgot to do was create a variable called total that actually stores our total. So let's go ahead and move, let's see here. Oh, we're already at the top. And let's just add it here. So let total equal 0. Okay, so now the last thing that we're actually going to test for is a clear button, which will be, let's call it C. And if user input is C, then we will say total equals 0, which will actually just clear our calculator. Let's see. Oops, goodness. One more thing we're gonna put here. Okay, we're gonna add 2 more things to this switch statement. One, is a default, which if anything goes wrong, will just automatically break this and will not continue to keep running. And okay, so the last thing we're gonna add to our switch statement here is to console log the total, and we're gonna wanna first of all check that if it's a string, and if it is 0, then return the string. And we also want to set so that we don't have too many decimals and we only have 2 decimal points. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So console log, let's see here. Okay, so type of total, checking for total equaling string, or total, and total to fixed, and we want to give it 2 decimal points there. Okay, so now let's run some tests to see if our code actually works here. So we're going to call calculator, and we're going to add in plus and make sure it's a string 1. Now later we're going to add 9. Now we're gonna subtract, let's do 5. Now we're gonna multiply, make sure it's a string, by 3. And we're going to divide by 2. Why not? What happened here? Oh, comma there. And let's go ahead and run this and see if it works. So clear this first, node test.js, and see what happens. 1. So something went wrong here. Oh, gotta save first. Try that one more time. Oops, and spelled it wrong again. Node test.js. All right, so let's see, we have 1, then we have 10. So we add 9, subtract 5, there's 5, times 3, 15 divided by 2, 7.5. So there you go, a working calculator app. There are some things that I didn't really address here in terms of if you start off by dividing a number when your total is 0, we didn't address that, and a few other things, but in terms of simple functions and things like that, This covers a majority of it. All right, thanks for joining and subscribe.